Yeah. And you and Flair on this show are going to face none other than the Rock and Roll Express. And you guys had nearly a 19-minute match with them, and it was classic Southern tag wrestling. Arn, I went back this past Sunday morning. I can tell you, I watched every Nitro from June. I also watched the Great American Bash. This was such an exciting time of wrestling. We've had some months that we've covered, and there's been some lulls and some duds and some bad video packages and things like that. Man, not only is it exciting because what's happening here with Hall and Nash and all that, but just overall, things are clicking, stories are moving, and man, this was a lot of fun. But to see Ricky and Robert come out, how excited were you after all these years to be able to lock up with them again?
Impossible to say how good they were and how over they were and just what great businessmen they were. The fans loved them. The boys loved them. Everybody wanted to wrestle them. There was such a talented couple of guys that come along just every so often in a, generation. And those guys were just phenomenal. There should be a Mount Rushmore just for those two guys.
When you think about tag team wrestling and what they were able to do together, you always think, at least I do, the Crockett days, rock and roll, midnights.
They made everybody that they worked with.
Yeah,
everybody.
Sure. And just for them coming out and on WCW now on Monday Nitro, it's kind of a big deal, man, especially because a lot of the fan base, at least, Crockett era fan base that transitioned with WCW now gets to see that Rock and Roll Express together on the big stage in Nitro, which is very cool.
Yep. And they're still out there on the weekends, still wrestling as a team.
He's still rocking the mullet. He's still doing his thing.
Unbelievable.
It is. It's cool to see. Let's talk about the finish because Woman rakes Gibson's eyes. You hit the DDT. Flair gets the pin. But, man, woman's getting physical. She's just not, providing a distraction or handing the heel a shoe. She's getting up now and she's raking eyes. So I'm really enjoying watching her with the Horsemen. She was also screaming very loud a lot of the matches. Do you recall her hyperness and getting involved in her activity in some of these matches back then?
She's somebody else that I bet you would really, if you gave her too much junk, take one of those fingernails and poke your eye out with it.
No doubt about it.
She's a super sweet lady, super sweet, but I don't think you would cross her and get away with it.
And you say that super sweet lady, but that really goes to show you how good she was at turning it on when the cameras came on and getting into character.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have a fun picture that I want to show because before the match, you come out and Rick come out wearing some NFL jerseys just to be antagonists. And so I grabbed a still of it, but there you are rocking the Steve Mongo McMichael Chicago Bears jersey. Flair's rocking the Kevin Green's jersey. He's doing the hut hike run down the aisle. And I asked you before we jumped on if you remembered sporting that jersey. But I mean, now that we have, now that we've gone on from this time, a lot of love and appreciation for Mongo. You had a lot of respect for him. We see kind of the journey that he ended up having to go through towards the end of his life. I just thought it was super cool. And I know this was more of a heel move back then, but still to have this picture of you in a Mongo jersey coming down ringside just kind of felt a little different. It was cool to see.
Well, we thought if we got them really pissed and got them off their game, we'd have a lot better chance because it was not lost on us what a couple studs we're fixing to have to get in that ring with. Kevin Green's a hoss, Mongo's a hoss, and they're an unknown entity. You have no history of anything they've ever done resembling wrestling. They're just it's an unknown quantity.
Such a good time. Obviously, you see Miss Elizabeth and Woman pictured there with you and Rick, and it was just like I said, just really enjoyable time. I would tell all of you after you watch this episode of Arn, go back and watch that month, at least some highlights. I think you're going to really have a lot of enjoyment because during the match here, Bobby Heenan, he leaves commentary. He goes and sits in this VIP section that was kind of earmarked for the Horsemen. He whispers to Elizabeth and Woman, and then later Gene Okerlund comes down and says they're having a conversation, and Heenan says, "Hey, I'm not managing. I don't do that anymore. I'm not a manager, but I'm going to be a coach." and I'm going to coach, Rick and Arn. And then he brings out a John Madden award and says that I've been a John Madden award winner. Again, the tie-in with football and how he's going to coach the two of you against this group. So it's kind of all coming together. But how much fun was it to bring back Bobby the Brain Heenan for at least one night and just having him, because he came down at Great American Bash, followed you down after your entrance, but having him a part of that night, because ties go back to you with him back in your WWF days.
What a character.
Mm.
Probably the funniest, sharpest, quick-wittedest guy I've ever met. It doesn't matter what you say. I could say, it's a skinny pan, Bobby. And he would have a retort.
Oh, ready.
And
yeah.
something funny, something good. He was such a loss to all of us. When I was with WWF and he walked you out to the ring, you were instantly made a star right away if you were in the Heenan family. And he just carried that over to WCW, and he just continued to perform at an optimum level, and everything that he said, people listened to.
As you were talking about him, Arn, you were spot on. He was one of a kind. You think of a lot of announcers, a lot of color guys and things like that. But when you think of someone that is so unique or so talented, like you said, here's a pen, he's ready, on point, ready to go. Man, they broke the mold when they made a Bobby Heenan. He was fantastic. And he was so special. And to your point, he made everything, but the Heenan family, the whole 9 yards. And then to come over and do what he did on commentary after being a manager. I've heard other podcasts talk about him before to say, could he be on the Mount Rushmore of all-time great entertainers or performers, not wrestlers, but performers in wrestling? He's that good.
He certainly is.
Oh,
he get my vote.